Hi, this is David Lohman, and this is Lohman Logic. We're still talking about self-awareness, and we're talking about communication. So I was talking to this guy just a couple of days ago. It was really recent, and he comes in here, and his name is Bob. And he was telling me, you know, I have this problem where my clients will be talking to me, and all of a sudden I realize that I'm not there anymore. I'm just not listening to them. My attention has waned, and I don't know what to do about that. I said, well, it's good that you know that about yourself, because a lot of people won't even realize that's happening, and then all of a sudden they just try to fake it. But the thing is, this guy does home mortgages. Now I'll tell you something, if I was talking to my mortgage broker and I found out that he wasn't paying attention to what I was saying, that'd probably be the last time that I did business with him. How about you? Probably the same thing. So we talked about this a little bit, because this guy is actually a good guy. I've done a lot of business with this guy. I trust him a lot. But he was confiding in me. So we decided to go forward with that. I said, well, here, let's figure out a couple drills that you can do. When you go to start talking to somebody, it doesn't matter if it's somebody that you're just meeting for the very first time, like at a chamber mixer or a party or whatever, or if it's somebody that you've already done business with, but you're going to do a new contract with them. When you go up and have your conversation, you need to be thinking to yourself, what 3 questions can I come up with from his conversation or her conversation that I can ask this person? Now, if you do that, that's going to do a few things. First off, it's going to make sure that you're paying attention to the conversation. It's also going to make sure that you ask the right questions, so they're going to know that you're listening to them and you got their best interest in mind. So if you can think of those 3 questions while you're talking to that person, that should stop that problem cold. You'll definitely be paying attention all the way. Here's where it becomes interesting. Don't ask them the questions, at least not yet. Because right now what you're doing is you're still in the relationship phase, and you need to just listen to them and keep the conversation going. It also gives you a reason, or an excuse if you want to call it that, to call them back later. And that's important, because you want to make sure that you touch these people conversationally as often as you possibly can, and it shows that you've been thinking about them. That's when you come up with, hey, you know that conversation we were having a couple of days ago? I have some questions for you. And you ask those 3 questions at that time. That's going to give you time to think about it a little bit more. That's going to give them time to think, hey, this guy was really interested in what I'm saying, and he's taking care of me. So you see how this is very, very important to use this method. So you get the extra contact, you get the extra care, and they're going to feel it as well. And so you get that chance to show them just how important they are to you. And you paid attention to their conversation. So for example, the guy's talking to you and you're a mortgage broker, and he starts talking in his conversation. He said,
you know, when I sell this house and buy that new house, I'm going to have to move again, and that's going to take a lot of work. And I'm not sure about the school district that my kids will be going into, and my wife is going to have to make all kinds of changes in her schedule as well.
Now that might have typically bored you. That might have made you typically just drift off and not pay attention to him anymore. But now that you're paying attention, because you have to ask these questions, you call him back up in 3 days and you say,
hey, I was just wondering if you've given any thought about this move that you're going to be doing. Do you need any help finding somebody to help you move? Somebody to help you pack? And about your kids, do you know what school districts you want to get them moved into, or do you want to stay in that school district? Because we can make sure that we got the houses all lined up for that. And your wife, what is it that she's going to need to do to make her changes in her schedule too? Because maybe we can find some other people out there in that area that can help you make that transition.
So what you're doing is you're showing that you cared by bringing up ideas that he came up with during his conversation. So this can happen with any kind of conversation. And you can do this with a brand new person or somebody you've been doing business with for a long time. But it's a surefire method to make sure that you are paying attention. You need to figure out, what questions can I come up with from your conversation with me? And then don't ask them. Save it up, call them back in a couple of days later, and now you're an even better friend. This is David Lohman, and this is Lohman Logic. Be sure and subscribe to our channel, like it below, and if you have any comments, be sure and put them in there. Give us some comments, think about some things that you want to ask, and we'll see if we can get a video out for you too. So I just want to make sure, let me go over my notes over here. Let's see, so we're going to have to cut that out.